2022 NFL Draft coverage on Keon Sports is brought to you by JBL Roofing and Construction. Sports fans and homeowners alike, let me take this moment to tell you about JBL Roofing and Construction. JBL is a licensed, bonded, and an insured contractor with experience to complete any job needed for your home or property. Let our team of professionals help you with vinyl siding, windows, roofing, and gutters. Get the job done right the first time and stress-free with JBL. Call them today at 330-677-9463. That's 330-677-9463. Or visit them on the web at jblrc.com. Jeffrey Protects Insurance. In today's day and age, insurance from someone you can trust is more important than ever, and you won't make a better choice than Jeffrey Protects Insurance. At JPI, they specialize in Medicare, healthcare services, and life insurance. Visit them at jeffreyprotects.com or call them at 330-304-7267. That's 330-304-7267. Dave's Golden Shear Barbershop, a staple of the community since 1954. Dave's Golden Shear Barbershop has been your trusted barber for nearly a century of great haircuts. With affordable prices and excellent customer service, there is no better place to get your cut. It is located at 26915 Center Ridge Road in Westlake. And TNT Construction, your top choice for residential, commercial remodeling, construction, and building services, not only in Cleveland, but all of Northeast Ohio. Look them up today at tntcleveland.com. Welcome back, everybody. It is now time to unveil the top 3 edge rushers in the 2022 draft class. And before I do so, edge rusher is such an important position. Defensive end, outside linebacker. Again, somebody who can generate pressure, get after the quarterback. And it seems like every successful team out there has at least one good one, if not 2 bookends on the opposite side. Again, this is important to take a look at this position during the draft because aside from quarterback, aside from making sure you have a good offensive line, yeah, it's great to have some excellent pieces, a good running back and good wide receivers and nice tight ends. Again, you want to have a complete and full football team, but you can win games with, a good quarterback. Doesn't have to be a great quarterback, a fairly stable offensive line, and if your defense can generate pressure, then you can definitely manage to still go 500 in the league. So it's always important every single year when we take a look at edge rushers. It feels like it's one of the most important positions on defense, if not the most important. Big name guys out there in the league: Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa. There are so many talented edge rushers. Can there be a few guys from this group that make a huge impact? Now, I'll be honest, I had a tough time between number 4 and number 3. So you already saw here in the story that number 4 was George Karlaftis of Purdue. Very physical player, bit of a bowling ball, a truck when he's barreling downhill towards you. It's just he has a little bit of a lack of length despite being 6'4", and having a hard time separating from big offensive linemen when they're able to get a hold of him. Again, because he might have shorter arms than some of the other guys. Not as versatile, pretty much a 4-3 D end. I think that's what he best translates to. I don't think he can stand up. He needs that hand in the dirt. So that's why number 3 is Trayvon Walker of Georgia. And like I said, splitting hairs there, and Karlaftis might actually end up having a better career, but right now Walker would be the go-to prospect, just slightly over Karlaftis because of his versatility. Walker does have a certain nastiness about him in the way that he sheds blockers. Again, was a dominant threat at Georgia. Now, there was talent all over that defensive line, all over the defense. Did that help him excel and make his film look even better? Perhaps it did. But he's going to be around good talent in the NFL regardless. So again, maybe the NFL team that picks him up can tap into that ability that he has. Really quick get off at the time of the snap. Can make plays down the whole line. He's very quick. Can move laterally very well. So again, dangerous on stunts, dangerous getting around the edge. He can really do a lot. Now, I would say that he can improve on reading blocking schemes and tracking the ball better. I think sometimes when that ball's handed off, again, he can lose where the ball carrier is, where the ball is. He he can take himself out of a play, and it's more often himself taking him out of a play rather than an offensive lineman, a player on offense, doing so. If he can improve that tracking ability, he has so much talent to be able to tap into. Really, that versatility is why I said that he was my number 3 here. He can fit at 3-4 outside linebacker, or even he could slide inside as a D end in a 3-4, putting his hand in the dirt, or he could be a defensive end in a 4-3 base defense. A lot of things you can do with a guy like Trayvon Walker. That's why he is in this top 3, just because regardless of what team picks him up, there's going to be a system that fits his style of play. My player comparison is Rashawn Gary. Rashawn Gary up in Green Bay has that versatility to him. I like it when his hand is in the dirt. That's what it was like at Michigan. But up in Green Bay, they're usually running that 3-4 base defense. He's an outside linebacker. Again, he has that ability, that quickness. They're very similar types of players. Walker will go in the first round. Now, my guess would be mid to late first round, but you'll see him come off the board in the first because of the ability that he does possess. The best fits for him, the Baltimore Ravens. They always like to get a good outside linebacker in their 3-4 base defense. They had Jason Owe. They drafted last year. He provides the speed. Walker would give them, he has quickness, but he's not speedy like Owe does. He has more physicality. He'd be a different asset on the other side at outside linebacker. Green Bay, they can put him opposite of Rashawn Gary, who I compared him to. Again, that would give another physical guy on the outside to get after those NFC North quarterbacks in a division that might end up having its struggles. Again, not too many super talented teams that are ready to compete. Again, that might help the Packers to continue to stay atop their division. The Arizona Cardinals, they have some good talent there. I do think there's some injury issues, still some concerns there. J.J. Watt, he's there. But regardless, I still think that there's a lot that can be done, a lot that can be improved upon in their edge rushing ability. And then last one, the wild card team for me is Kansas City. I think Kansas City will go elsewhere position-wise when it comes down to the picks get to them late in the first round. But doesn't hurt to put Walker out there. You have Jones in the middle on the defensive line who can generate pressure. You have some other weapons there, but I think their defense has dropped in ability in the last couple of years. Bringing in a guy like Walker might be able to help that out. Next one, at number 2, Kayvon Thibodeaux of Oregon. Now, Thibodeaux, he's one that there have been rumors about his work ethic, concerns about that, and I've got to be honest, I'm not buying it. Okay, I don't buy that a guy that talented and with that ability and was a 5-star recruit, I don't buy that he doesn't have that great of a work ethic. Every year, there's always smoke screens, so I'm not falling for the smoke screens. I think it's just some teams out there who want to make sure that they can get him in the top 10. They're hoping that he falls right into their laps. He is such a talented player. He has a great combination of speed, the physical tools, and agility, an explosive first step, excellent instincts. There's a lot that he really does well. He's powerful and a difference maker, and he will make a difference in the NFL. Those skills are all going to translate. Now, he's probably best standing up as a 3-4 outside linebacker. He could easily play with his hand in the dirt, though, be a defensive end in a 4-3, but ideally that 3-4 base defense might be the best fit for him. He has the ability to be that number 1 guy. The only reason I would say he's not that number 1 guy is just because he's not quite as powerful as the top prospect. So again, he has that speed and that ability, and he has plenty of power. But perhaps if a big offensive tackle can get their hands on him, maybe they can limit what he can do. He's going to be a top 10 pick, though. I'm almost positive about that. It has to be a smokescreen. I would be shocked to see him slip through the first round because he's just too good to slip. My player comparisons for him, with him being best as a 3-4 outside linebacker in the league, James Harrison, in that speed, that strength. He's not nearly as strong as James Harrison. He is taller and longer than James Harrison, but there is that ability there. and Bud Dupree. Bud Dupree brought some speed off the edge. Again, two guys that really I can say that he's a mix of. Two good players to be a mix of there. Now, if he's going in the top 10, most likely, who are the teams that he would fit best with? Well, the Jacksonville Jaguars sitting there at the top of the draft, they do need an edge rusher. Will he fit in their scheme? Yes, he could, but he would then have to be a 4-3 defensive end. I don't think it's as good of a fit with them as maybe some other teams. The Houston Texans, that would be a really good fit for him there. The New York Jets, he would be a 4-3 defensive end with the Jets. It would give the Jets some explosiveness, though, that they need, as they really need to fill that roster just like the Houston Texans do. And then the wild card team, the Atlanta Falcons. I don't believe they're going to go defense. I believe they'll go on the offensive side of the ball, but they have more needs on the defensive side of the ball. As ironic as that sounds, the Falcons were probably going to go with wide receiver. That would be my guess. Maybe even the first wide receiver off the board with the Atlanta Falcons. But if Thibodeaux is sitting there, they might need to consider that. Think about taking a shot because the Falcons are a long way from getting that defense fully shored up. Lastly, at number 1, Aiden Hutchinson of Michigan. Now it's close between him and Thibodeaux at number 1, but Hutchinson is so relentless, and he has the most explosiveness in this class. I'm not saying he's the fastest, but he's relentless. He doesn't give up. His motor's always running hot. He just is so powerful as a bull rusher. I mean, he gets into an offensive tackle, and he's going to put that tackle on his backside. He has so much ability when it comes to the pop in his hands and that strength. Now, I think he can improve against the run and definitely read the run a little bit more, make more of an impact in the backfield as a run stopper, but he's such an explosive edge rusher, and he is fairly competent still as a run stopper that he's going to do really well here in the league. He fits best as a 4-3 defensive end. Different than Thibodeaux. I think where Thibodeaux needs to be that 3-4 outside linebacker to reach his full capacity. For Hutchinson, his potential is with that hand in the dirt. He's athletic enough to stand up and be a 3-4 outside linebacker, but he was a defensive end, hand in the dirt at Michigan. I think that's going to be best for him as well in the league. The player comparisons for him, Ohio State fans aren't going to love this, but he has to be a long-lost Bosa brother. That number 97, that might be part of it, that it is 97, and both Joey and Nick Bosa wear number 97. But the power's there, the size is there, that ability's there, and both Bosa brothers have been great in the NFL. I would expect Hutchinson to be much of the same. Like I said, he'd have to be a long-lost Bosa brother because both of the Bosas went to Ohio State. That being said, Hutchinson has that ability. He's going to make an impact at the next level. He might be part of that list of guys that I was talking about earlier, those talented edge rushers. He might find his name up there here very shortly. He's going in the top 5. Will he go number 1? That would be my guess, but I don't know if he's going to go number 1. But if he does get past number 1, expect Hutchinson to come off the board in that top 5. He's not going to drop very far. Best fits, Jacksonville. Mentioned that 4-3 base defense. Put him at defensive end. He's going to tee off in the AFC South. So if you're Matt Ryan, if you're Davis Mills, if you're Ryan Tannehill, watch out because Hutchinson's probably going to go to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, if the Jaguars decide not to go that direction, then the Detroit Lions are sitting there, also need an edge rusher, would be a really good fit in Detroit. Houston needs an edge rusher. And then the wild card team is, if he does slip farther than expected, then the New York Giants are waiting there. They could use an edge rusher as well. But I doubt that he's going to make it past Jacksonville. And if he does, he probably won't make it past the Detroit Lions. The edge rushers, so much fun to talk about, but the defensive tackles coming up next. Make sure to pay attention tomorrow as we go over the top 3, unveil all the rankings for the defensive tackles in the 2022 class.